Beginner trick? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. It's like borderline not, but like I think just because it's too easy.
Hey everybody, Eric Tate here alongside my good buddy Nick Licapo, and welcome back to another Penguin Magic Top 10 list as determined by you, the fans of Penguin Magic. And today we're doing top 10 beginners tricks. And Nick, I think they knocked this one out of the park.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's some great tricks on this
Oh,
list.
there's great tricks. Are they the top 10 beginner tricks, though?
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I think you were going to have to find out. If you're new here, I'm Eric Tate. This is Nick Licapo. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe as well as ring that bell so you can be notified when we put up more top 10 videos, live performances, inside the boxes, all kinds of stuff like that. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram because that's where we throw up polls for you folks to vote. And you can do submissions and all kinds of stuff like that. And that is where this list came from because Nick and I didn't determine this list. You did.
Yeah, no, I'm glad about that.
Yeah,
I'm glad because I got a lot to do these days.
Oh yeah.
Talk to you, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, it never ends down here. It's wild, but this is a good list. So I mean,
sure.
Especially when thinking about beginner magicians, like if you're like brand new to magic, maybe you've like found this page on YouTube and you're like wanting to do your own magic tricks. Like these are some pretty solid tricks for entry level. I think is where we're looking.
I think so. I think we'll talk about it as we go through. But the list is strong. There's a lot of great tricks that we're going to share with all of you out there. Starting with
number 10. Number 10 is $2 Window by Jay Noblezada. There's actually been a recent update to this, which I taught, and it's a fantastic trick. Essentially, you have two $1 bills, you fold them up, and when you unfold them, they're a $2 bill. You can show the $2 bill front and back, and you fold the $2 bill back up, unfold it, and it is two single $1 bills again. It's a great trick. This is actually one of my first tricks when I got seriously into magic. I think like 15, 16 years ago, I bought this from Penguin Magic when Jay Noblezada was teaching it. It was great. It was like really old school, you know, the 4x3 format.
You didn't know it was old school when you bought it.
No, I mean, when I bought it, it was brand new. I mean, I bought it when they emailed about it.
Right.
And I kept this trick in my wallet for a long time. It's a very easy trick. Essentially, there is a little bit of arts and crafts involved. So you just got to get a couple of ordinary $1 bills and an ordinary $2 bill. And in the original version, Jay taught you how to do it. In the new version, I actually teach you how to do it. It's pretty easy to do. Once you got everything set up, the bills kind of do all the work for you. And I think the biggest update that I added to it was I have a routine that I've been doing for a long time, and then I teach a sort of alternate handling where you can give away the $2 bill, which is kind of cool.
It's a great trick. I mean, keep it in your pocket. It's really like icebreaker type of thing. You know, I think even if you're not a magician, you're trying to get in, like beginner, you know, this is a great one to carry around because you know, it uses items that everybody's familiar with. You're not like, here's a deck of cards, or here, you know, you're not making a statement like, I'm a magician. You're like, let me show you something cool with a couple dollars.
And I feel like it's one of those things that people, they hit you with when you're new to magic, is they're like, oh, if you want people to pay attention to your magic, do magic with money, because everyone likes money, so you'll instantly be attracted to it.
I also like that it happens up here. You know, we talk about those little tricks a lot, but it's not like a, let me show you a trick down here trick. It's one that happens in front of your face. So, but I mean, outside of beginner's magic, it's a great trick for video and all venues, really.
It's a super cool trick. So $2 Window by Jay Noblezada.
Great one. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is a really good one. This is called VORTEX by Dan Harlan. Here it is in this little baggie. What happens is you show two cards. There's been an outburst in handlings of VORTEX, I feel like, over the last couple of years. But really what ends up happening is you have two cards, and I'll bring it out here and kind of do it in a second. You have two cards, and you put them face to face, and then you like shake them like this, and they fuse together, and they create a really cool looking visual.
It's like a swirly vortex almost.
Yeah, it's like a vortex, right? And then you like visually peel them apart. And I'm just going to grab the couple cards that it takes to do such a thing here, because why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it, Eric, we'll do it.
It's a fun trick. I really like this. And I think, you know, Dan Harlan's original handling is cool and makes a lot of sense. But also, like, Rick Lax has got a fun handling. Jabrizi had a pretty good handling of it.
Yeah, so you would take, like, the queen, you'd put it, like, next to the the 5 like this. You hold on to it, and then you just kind of give it like a little bit of a swirly shake, and they change into this like kind of thing. And then I love this moment where you peel it right out of there, which is really cool. Great trick, great visual. Yeah. Everybody's been doing this like on their Instagram reels and all that. And easy to do, really, really easy to do.
Yeah, the cards kind of work, do all the work for you.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, there's a move here, but I wouldn't even call it a magic move.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of finger mobility, and you can get this done. Yeah, and
also, the other thing I really like about this is, especially, and again, just for beginners, because I think when you're a beginner in Magic,
sure.
you want to learn from a lot of magicians, and I think Vortex is one of those cool ones where you get the version from Dan Harlan that Dan does, but then you also get Rick Lax's, and then doesn't Dan House make an appearance on this?
is on there. Yep.
I mean, there's like half a dozen magicians on this. You get introduced to a lot of different magicians and different teaching styles, different philosophies, like really fast. It's like it's kind of a mind expanding.
Yeah. And as a beginner,
tutorial.
it's really, I guess you're just going to be putting those 2 cards like in your wallet.
Yeah.
And you can do it at a moment's notice. Yeah. So I mean, easy to do, visual card trick that works across platforms. Again, just like $2 window, you could do it for people, or if you're just trying to get started, like showing people stuff on your social media, like that's going to check that box as well. Because I think we should probably consider that as like, as a beginner. Like maybe you're a beginner, like my brain doesn't immediately go there. Yeah. But as a beginner trying to get like a social media page going filled with cool visual tricks as well, this would really tick that box.
Yeah, I think
I guess that is like why wouldn't it be?
I see a lot of younger magicians like getting into Magic and then like immediately doing stuff on Instagram, which is it wasn't the way I started.
No, it wasn't the way I
started. But I'm also
not
saying it's wrong.
No, it's not at all. But so that might be an important thing to keep in mind, at least for the 2 of us as well, going forward when it comes to beginners tricks. Like, it needs to be able to be done to a camera. Yeah. Like, because why wouldn't it need to be done to a camera these days?
Instagram is its own genre of Magic now. I mean, it is sort of coming into its own.
And like we're a couple like old guys sitting here at this point talking about it, having this revelation at the same time. But
back in my day, we didn't do Magic to a camera. We just did it to a.
But these days, you could argue like my little nephew, he's getting into Magic. Yeah. And what's his favorite thing to do? Send me videos of him doing tricks. Yeah. Man, if those tricks weren't good on video, that wouldn't be any fun.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, just maybe an important thing to keep in mind.
Well, let's move on to number 8. This is Monkey in the Middle by Bill Goldman. Whew. This is an amazing trick. So you have 2 jokers that are on top of the deck, and you have a card selected, signed. It's put in the middle. It's very clearly put in the middle of the deck, and then immediately it is between the 2 jokers on top of the deck. Yeah. And it can be repeated over and over and over again. And I think Magic Ballet teaches this to you.
He sure does.
We talk about like learning Magic from one of the living greats. Yeah. I mean, and Magic Ballet is awesome. However, I'm not sure I would put this at a beginner's trick.
Yeah, neither would I.
There is
a move here.
There's a couple of moves, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple of moves. Yeah. There's a couple of moves in this, and they're not hard moves. No. Not hard moves at all, but I would call them like, just above. This would be like Card College Volume 2. Yeah. Like they're not that crazy, but they are a thing. And also, this is like a challenge Magic trick. Where
as a beginner, you don't want to like live in that challenge world because because then you've got people whom you're not capable of handling that kind of interaction because people grabbing stuff from you. Setting up a challenge relationship is a little difficult when it's your first, when
it's your first trick, and if you got nothing else you can hit them over the head with, this is going to be it'll put you in a tough spot. Mm-hmm. It is impossible. Like this trick's amazing. Has nothing to. The trick's incredible. Yeah. But yeah, for a beginner, might be a little bit of a stretch.
Now I got a theory. Yeah. I think that the reason this got voted into the list was that Monkey in the Middle was promoted online on Facebook. And I think that a lot of people, when this came out, Monkey in the Middle was probably one of their first tricks that they like bought, and so that's why they're thinking of it as a beginner's trick. Yeah. Right? Because maybe the first trick you buy is not always necessarily a great beginner's trick.
And weirdly, like this trick is impossible when you see it. Yeah. But it's no more impossible to somebody that's never seen this trick before and you're doing just a basic sandwich trick.
Yes.
This hurts it hurts laymen.
Yeah.
This hurts magicians really bad.
The first time I saw a video of this, I had no idea how it worked.
Yeah, it's a total mind job. Yeah. So I guess we'll talk about it when we get to 3 like we normally do. We usually take a little break and break things down. But
great trick.
Great trick.
You know, not difficult trick, but not something I would put out for, not something I would hand to a beginner and say, go do this.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'd want him to be a little bit, not advanced, but a little bit more into
Yeah, I would
magic.
just want you to have like an out for it, because you know it can be a very like do that again, do that again, do that again trick, and you can with that trick, but not for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
You know what I will say is, I think that when you and I hear the term beginner magician, we're thinking someone who doesn't do any magic at all.
Sure.
Who this is like first trick. $2 window, great first trick.
Sure.
Vortex, great first trick. Monkey in the middle, not a great first trick, but if you have done 2 or 3 tricks, if you've got 2 or 3 tricks under your belt, not out of the realm of a beginner magician. So
yeah, you just need to be able to transition out of it.
yes.
So it's not going to be your first trick. You're going to have to know something else, right?
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Move on to number 8. Or are we in 8?
Yeah. We're
we're
at
on
7. We're at 7.
7. I'm like, I know it was mine, and I'm doing the odds, but anyway. Number 7, The Moment by Andy Nyman. Look, here's a routine, and I kind of understand why it was listed as a beginner's trick. What you have here are you bring out a set of, they call them snap cards or like match game cards, and these are circus themed. So they have these awesome, this awesome artwork, these little like old school 1950s vintage circus sideshow cards, and they're really amazing. And you create a routine where you basically say, this trick is one of the first tricks I ever did when I was a kid, and it gives you kind of an out. Like there's a great story you can tell here about how you kind of got started in magic, and along the way, the spectator shuffles some cards. And then it is then revealed that those cards, not only did you know which color cards the spectator would choose, then also the order in which the spectator shuffled the cards matched another order that you have the other cards in. Look, there's a lot of magic that goes on here. But along the way, you're telling a story about how you got started in magic. It's an incredible routine. I highly recommend you go to Penguin and watch the full performance of this.
Yeah, because Andy actually does it for someone who is in
he's in a few
Succession.
TV shows.
Yeah, he's in a couple of TV shows. So he does that for a bona fide celebrity, and Andy is a bona fide celebrity himself. Do you know he was in Star Wars?
Crazy, right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
This is a great. It's also very easy, I would say. And then there's a kicker effect where somebody looks at the cards and they think of any one of them and they imagine it in their hand, and you're able to read their mind. It's a very direct piece of mind reading. As a beginner trick?
Yeah, it's a weird one because like it's a good trick. There's a lot, I think, for a beginner to like keep upstairs with this.
But so actually, I interviewed Andy Nyman for the Penguin Magic podcast. If you actually go listen to him on the podcast, he talks about the origins of this trick are in basically library books.
Sure.
Like any magic book you can get in a library has got an early version of this effect.
Right.
No, it's not as like well produced and put together as Andy's, but a beginner could do this. But
of course.
It would take some time.
I think it's a little. Look, that's why like something like Vortex or $2, it's like one moment. It's just like, oh, I have to do the thing. I put this here or there, and I do it, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is a fully fledged like routine, like a story with also there's what you're doing. Like you wouldn't be fully confident that you've. I mean, I'm just like it's an easy trick for anybody that's done magic before, and I think the story isn't going to fit a beginner so well.
No, that's another thing, is that like this is one of those tricks that really the routine works best if you've been in magic for a couple of years, because it's sort of predicated upon the question, how did you get into magic?
Right.
And for a lot of people, it's I got a magic kit as a kid, but like this is the perfect routine to go into because it really draws them in. Like
you got 5 minutes to do a trick for somebody, sit down with some ice cream and like show them a trick.
Yeah.
This is your guy. Any beginner could do this trick. I think it's just more of a polished piece. Maybe they could work to it. Yeah. But it's there's just a lot maybe going on here. It would be a great tutorial for somebody to watch. I mean, the instructions are amazing, and I feel like you would learn so much watching Andy. But like, yeah, I think it's just maybe too many hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it may just be too much for somebody to swallow.
Beginner could do it. Wouldn't recommend it for a beginner.
Yeah.
Great trick though. Let's move on to number 6, and that is the Stealth Pen. Now, we're going to show you this right here. This is the box of powers from Penguin Magic because the Stealth Pen is actually inside this.
Yes.
Stealth Pen's a great trick. What it is you borrow $1 from someone, you take a pen, a ballpoint pen, and you stab it right through the bill. And then they can see the pen, you know, fully through the bill on both sides, and then you rip it apart to the side. They can hear it rip. They see the pen move to the side, and Nick's even going to do it here for us.
Let's get
and
the,
then
everybody loves this moment where you stick it right through.
that's one of my favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
Show it on all sides, and you just rip it. Ooh.
You can hear it, but then it's completely restored.
Completely restored, and then I always love you can hand it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can hand it out. Amazing beginner's trick.
Yeah.
It's really easy to do, introduces you to the concept of gimmicks, introduces you to very minimal sleight of hand,
Yeah.
because there's easy ways to do this, and then there's more sort of advanced handlings. Really, really solid trick. Restaurant workers still perform this.
Yeah, it's a great, it's a great trick. I mean, pros use this trick all the time.
world.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So this is a great, for everything you just said. I love the idea that it introduces gimmicks to people that aren't aware of it, because it does. The first time you get something like that, you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you get when you get into Magic?
The first time you play with like a really cool gimmick, like Stealth Pen, is just it's hard for me to imagine, like remember what it was like the first time I got like a really cool gimmick.
Yeah.
But I mean, even now when I get a really cool gimmick, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the stuff.
Yeah.
The box of powers, though, before we put it away, is so Stealth Pen. You can get the Stealth Pen by itself. So if you're looking for a pen through bill, Stealth Pen is great. If you're looking for a magic kit that teaches you all kinds of beginner tricks, this is really it. We've actually got a video.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this box.
Yeah, I think we're going to come back and talk about this box a little bit more, but because I think we'll talk about some of the other tricks on this. But yeah, box of powers, fantastic. Stealth Pen.
Yeah, stealth pen. Number 5. What's 10? 5. Yeah. We have Eric Casey's Poker Test 2.0. 2.0.
Love this trick.
Great trick. This is, so what we don't have it set it up here, but really what you're getting are some gimmick cards. There's just a little bit of setup involved. I mean, almost no setup, but it's a test that you give your spectators where you show, you have 5 cards, and then you show them the front and the back, and then you ask them a couple questions about it, like, you know, what color were the backs of the cards, what were the faces of the cards, and then of course what, the kicker is they all change. Basically, the fronts change, the backs change. There's a lot of color changes that happen with the poker test, and it's a great stand-up piece of easy-to-do card magic that happens in front of your face, with a fun presentation as well.
Yeah.
So,
insanely easy to do.
Yeah.
The cards do all of the work for you.
I had a friend, Zach. He was getting going in Magic, and he got a walk-around gig. I mean, he knew a lot of Magic, but you know, as a younger guy doing restaurants, this was just such a great trick for him as an opener.
Yeah.
You know, because you could walk up to adults and like give them that like spiel about, hey, I got a test for you. I want you to pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the fronts and the backs of these cards, and then it's just totally unexpected of how strong the changes are going to be on this trick. And again, another trick that plays up in front of your face, which is really good. And you don't have to do anything. Like Eric said, the cards do everything for you.
Great beginner trick.
Great beginner trick.
Really good beginner trick.
Yeah.
And you know what this has in common with Stealth Pen? The same thing where you're getting introduced to gimmick cards as a beginner, and these gimmicks will just make you go like
I was curious, do they actually? Okay, yes, so it only comes with the thing. Because one of the nice things about this, and no beginner would care, but you can use any back design card you want.
I know, this is, I mean,
with these gimmicks, which is
awesome.
kind of something that you might not realize with this trick. So you can kind of, that's up to you what back design they're going to change into. But this is a really clever trick. It's a great walk around trick. It would be something for anybody to this is a great beginner's trick, I think. Across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good trick.
That brings us to, where are we at here? Number 4. Number 4 is, for our good buddy R. Paul Wilson, this is Spectrum. This is a tour de force of a trick. You've got, you got, what is it? You've got a bunch of cards, and then...
well, you start by saying it's the amazing color-changing deck,
Yep.
and you get a freebie. Here, I'll even show it to you right now. You get a freebie at the start of this. This is the amazing color-changing deck. Eric, look. If I snap to some magic, the deck changes color. Ta-da.
It's a great trick.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop there, right? Because you have somebody think of a card from the pack. Somebody's just going to think of one.
Okay.
And then the deck gets mixed up and face down as you're trying to find the spectator's card or divine it.
Yep.
And then you don't. So you have a little bit of things. So you say, I'll make it up to you. We'll do a different trick. I'll snap, and then the deck, even though you'd been mixing it face up and face down, straightens out. So
Like immediately.
Yeah, immediately. So all the cards are face up and face down, and then boom, they're facing the same direction. But then you say, well, what was your card? You slide their card out. You say, that's interesting, because it's the only card in the deck with a different color back. So all of a sudden, the selection that they had just thought of is no longer blue, it's red. And then, next thing you know, you look back, and the entire deck is red.
Yeah.
Even though it started blue.
The whole deck.
All 52 cards red. So there's a lot that kind of happens in there, and it's got like a bit of a kickback thing that happens as well.
You know, before we get to the is it good for a beginner or not? Because this is easy. The deck
easy.
does all the work for you. There's no like hardcore sleight of hand. There's
Completely
no like
mechanical deck.
weird gambling moves or anything like that. It's really super easy to do. We talk a lot about if you're going to have a deck that is completely gimmicked, what do you want it to do? If you're going to take up an entire deck with just one gimmick, you want it to do a lot. And Spectrum sort of ticks that box where it's like you're getting a full routine that does lots and lots of stuff. Is it for a beginner? Absolutely not.
Probably not, no.
I wouldn't hand this to a beginner. Not because they couldn't do it. It's because you need to be... First of all, you need to be introduced to what Triumph is. You need to be introduced to a color-changing deck. You need to be introduced to thought-of cards.
Yeah.
You're doing multiple things. I mean, this is like a whole act. It's super easy.
Sure.
But trying to walk a beginner through all of this would be...
Multi-phase routines as a beginner seem like, if you look back at the moment, or now Spectrum, I would dial that back. You know, try to keep it to one.
Yeah.
You know, have success with one thing, I think. You know, so, but Spectrum, you know, weirdly easier than like something like Monkey in the Middle.
Yes.
But maybe just too many phases. Too many phases.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to move on.
Well, we're at not the halfway point, but the point where we like to kind of
talk about things that were missed here.
Oh man,
there's so many great beginner tricks.
So many. And, you know, it's I don't even know where you start, to be honest. I think everybody's got their own opinion. You know, I know that if you were just to go to Penguin and you were to enter in your email right at the top there where it says enter in your email for 10 free tricks, the video that comes with that, which is completely free, is excellent. And you're going to learn, you know, stuff like the salt shaker trick through the table. There are more things with around the house objects that you can get. These are like tricks that you can buy. Yeah. There's so many places to go for beginners tricks.
You know, just like off the top of my head, like, you know, like the Penguin Mark deck would be good for beginners just because there's like a lot of cool stuff you can do with a Mark deck without having to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But also just like, you know, Royal Road to Card Magic has got like a lot of like really basic card tricks that someone could get interested in.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I wish I could list you like a million things, but like it's probably not worth it. It's like there's so much stuff. And to be honest, I think these days, my go-to suggestion for anybody is going to be this.
Yeah, the Box of Powers.
Which is not on this list. But
well, the Box of Powers came out after the voting was done on this list.
True.
So, I mean, the voting was done, you know, as of this filming like a few weeks ago, and the Box of Powers just came out.
Because I think before not to cut you off, but like before this list, if somebody asked me what's a great beginner's thing, I had a couple go-to answers, but like I was never like thrilled about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now this is it. This is my answer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, I got a great thing for you. I've already picked up a few of these just to keep them around the house.
Yeah.
Because that way, somebody asks, I'd be like, here, just take this, because I don't even mind giving it away to people. You know what I mean?
You know, the other thing that I would say, the other area I would recommend is just maybe look at some rubber band tricks.
Sure, yeah,
because I think that there's, you know, Joe Reinfleisch has some great stuff. Dan Harlan has some great stuff. Dr. Cyril Thomas has some great stuff, and some of their rubber band tricks are very complex.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of rubber band tricks that are super easy and also easy to explain.
Sure.
And understand and get the concept across, because it's like one phase. You know, the rubber band passes through one another, or the one where you like string one rubber band through the other and then it rises up the band. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff like that where you can get it down pretty quick.
And I'm sure like YouTube, there's probably so many great YouTube channels with like easy beginner tricks. But right now, this is my suggestion.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, we'll talk about it when we get to the end of the list. But yeah, Box of Powers, I think, is the end of the road when it comes to my answer for what's the best beginner's trick.
Well, that brings us to number 3. And Nick, I believe you know something about this particular thing.
What is this? A Svengali deck. Svengali deck. Svengali deck. I understand why it's on the list. This is like
That's a lot of people's first tricks.
Yeah, it's considered to be one of the best beginners tricks. And I don't know if it's like because of what it is, or just because people got fooled by it and got sold one, you know, when they were younger. So
yeah, I mean, arguably, the Svengali deck was one of the earliest tricks that I did.
Sure.
You know, but I got involved in pitch shop magic pretty early, and so I was doing this. The Svengali deck was something I sold to a lot of people. Same with the Invisible deck, mental photography, sort of, you know, mechanical decks that do some really cool stuff.
And it is important, right? Like to have like the stealth pen. That's like a good variable to keep in mind when you're giving somebody magic. Like it needs to have that toy factor.
Yeah.
Because like if you're excited about the gimmick itself, it makes you even more like the stealth pen. You're like, oh man, nobody's gonna know. Nobody knows what this is. You know, this is crazy. So anyway,
this Svengali deck is one of those things. So actually, let's talk about what it is. If anyone watching this is not familiar with the Svengali deck, it is a mechanical deck of cards where it can allow you to very easily and very fairly force a particular card on someone, and then you can do miracles with it. You can make that card rise to the top of the deck. You can make it appear in an impossible location. You can instantly know what it is.
Sure.
You could, you know, have anybody name a number after you've shuffled the deck, and then count down, and there it is. There's lots and lots of stuff.
There's 100 tricks that you can do with the Svengali deck. I mean, card for me, card for you guys.
Yeah.
My card will be the Jack of Hearts. Okay, now Eric, my card will go there. You just say stop as I riffle through.
Stop.
Right here.
Yep.
Want you to remember that card?
I got it.
You guys remember that at home over there? That's going to go into the center of the pack. Here's trick number 1.
Okay.
It's going to go from the center of the deck, and it's going to travel all the way up to the top.
Yep.
Of course, it happens when I touch the magic hand. Your card back on top.
There it is.
Right. That's not all. Your card's now going to change places with mine on the table. Happens when I whistle. Changes.
What?
That was mine. That used to be there. Does that look familiar?
That's insane.
Like that's like one of 1,000 tricks you can do with the Svengali deck, and it's all really easy.
Super easy stuff. So
it does. So this is the one. If you were to buy just the Svengali deck, I know there's a lot of stuff on the Svengali deck on the site. This is the one produced by Murphy's. It comes with a great little pamphlet. I mean, I've read this before. It's really good. It's from Daryl, right? So there's a lot of great information in here. You know, it doesn't look like a lot, but if you unfold that, there's a lot of good stuff in there. And the deck is well made. Allows you to, of course, the one thing that we didn't talk about is that the deck, a lot of people are familiar with this, so you can show the deck all different cards, right? And then, of course, you could also, of course, Erik's card. What was your card?
it was the 8 of Hearts.
Oh, look, I'll cut right to it.
Okay.
I'll cut right to it. I just give it a little cut, and I can cut right to it.
What? That's crazy.
But
How
if
did
I
you
snap,
do that?
I can cut to it again. Right? If I snap, I can
How do you cut to a card that's already on top of the deck, Nick?
Wait, I mean, but it's actually easy to cut to because now every card in the deck looks like the 8 of Hearts.
But that's impossible.
It's impossible. Here, we'll fix that. You know, we can't have a deck of cards like that. We'll get it right back to where it was. So everybody's familiar with. You can change the entire deck into the selected card, which is crazy, crazy town.
I mean, almost every Magic kit I was given as a kid had one of these in it.
Yeah.
There's like, you see them in pitch shops all the time, and like a lot of times when you walk into a Magic shop, this is one of the tricks that the guy behind the counter will show you.
So yeah, great beginner's trick. I'm not sure, like, I know this year I'll be probably releasing some stuff on the Svengali deck for beginners and for professionals and all that stuff. So until that comes out, and you know, I'm not trying to, I wouldn't feel comfortable sending anybody in like, yeah, here's a beginner's trick, here's a beginner's deck of cards, and like they're gonna get this and have success with it. Do you know what I mean? There's good stuff in here. Don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like this just needs a better product.
You know why this ranks so high is because in a lot of the Magic shops that I remember growing up, especially the early pitch shops, when you bought the Svengali deck, a dude took you into like a secret room and showed you the secret and taught you the routine.
Yeah.
And I think that like that, and then the little pamphlet that came with it was just sort of a way to jog your memory after you got this sort of personal private Magic lesson.
Because that's what needs to happen. You get fooled really bad by it.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the person who fooled you shares that secret knowledge with you, and then suddenly you're hooked for life.
Yeah. So it's a I mean, great beginner's trick.
Yeah.
It checks a lot of boxes.
Let's move on to number 2. This is CARD-TOON by Dan Harlan. So you can buy this by itself. You can also get this. It comes in the box of
in the box of powers. Yeah.
This is really cool. So what this is you've got a deck of cards here with a little guy who's got a stick figure drawn on the back, and people can name any card they want. They can name any card. Like let's say they wanted the 3 of diamonds, right? What you would do is you would take that 3 of diamonds off, and then this little guy right here, he just starts to look into his hat, and he pulls out a rabbit. And then he shakes it and turns into a card. And what is that card? Oh, he's smiling because when you turn it around, it is the 3 of diamonds, which is neat, right? I mean, this is arguably one of the greatest card tricks that was ever created. And it's been around for a long time. It's a great beginner's trick. I mean, this was one of the Magic shops I worked in.
Yeah.
This is what we showed people when they came in instead of the Svengali deck. It's really easy to do. It's a very fun trick. You know, you get one solid, clear Magic moment, and anyone can do this trick.
Yeah, great beginner's trick.
Yeah.
It's like it is very easy, but I think the what you have to do to make the trick work is kind of tough, kind of tough. But the thing is that if you saw that trick and you were excited to do it, you'd learn it, right away. It wouldn't stop you from learning the trick. But I do think it would be important for you to be excited about doing the trick because there is a little bit of a hurdle to get over with the speed in which that card is laid on the table.
I think that the hurdle is maybe larger than others, but I don't think it's as big.
Well, I think it gets, if you get excited to do this trick, you're going to learn it.
Yeah.
You know, it's because it's not that hard to do. It's just, it does require a bit of comfort to do that.
And I think arguably the hurdle here is smaller than it is for something like Monkey in the Middle or The Moment, where you where you would need to have some experience to be able to share it.
Weirdly, the other hardest part of this is just doing this.
Yes.
You know, it's not. Although I've sold a lot of these to kids, the kind of kids can't really do this.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind if you've got like a younger person in mind for the CARD-TOON.
This is a great beginner trick for somebody who is a little bit older in life and like looking to either get back into Magic as a hobby, or they saw Penn and Teller fool us and they thought that's cool. I want to be a magician too.
That trick works for all ages.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a really solid trick.
Great trick.
We carry it on Penguin. There's like 4, 5, 8 different versions of it.
Yeah.
They're all good. They all kind of work the same.
The method's the same on all of them. It's just the animation is a little different from deck to deck.
Yeah. So, and the only other thing to mention with these is that it works with any card in the deck. I did it with a 3 of diamonds right here, but they can literally name any card in the deck, and it works with any card.
Yep.
So
amazing.
Yep.
Last but not least,
that is.
We're at number 1.
Yep.
We're at number 1.
We are at number 1.
Number 1 is Brave by the man, Max Maven. We don't have it here, strangely.
We don't.
I don't know why. But what happens is you bring out a set of 4 cards. I have 4 cards here, Eric. They are the 4 queens. The 4 queens. And you go through a little verbal process where you have them select one of the 4 queens. And you show that you spread the cards. And the queen that they've named, whether it's the hearts, spades, clubs, or diamonds, is the only queen in the packet of 4 that is face up. It's face up. So trick number 1. And then you say, I was so certain, you would say the queen of hearts or whatever it was, that I took the queen here that's face up from a different deck because I didn't want you to think I did any sleight of hand. And
prove it.
Turn that card over, and it has a different color back than the other 3 cards. Trick number 2. Trick number 3 is I was so sure you'd say the queen of hearts that I didn't bring any other queens at all. And you turn the other 3 cards that are face down over, and they're all blank, or they're all jokers, or they're all anything but 3 queens.
It's a killer moment.
Yeah, crazy series of 3 3 mental effects. Great, classic of all time. Really, really strong piece of magic.
Been around for a long time. Max Maven created it, and it's, I mean, arguably one of the more well-known things that he has created, I think. I mean, every magician knows Wave.
Kind of came out of that like golden age of packet tricks a little bit. You know, I think the one thing that distinguishes this is just that it's just a pure mental effect. You know?
Yeah, I've seen versions of it where you can do moves and like where you can like make the queen appear face up between them, but it's just like that's just ultimately not as strong as just making it a pure mental effect as like hitting them 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this is like you can lay the 4 cards on the table, have them think of one, spread them. You know, it's very like out of the hands. I could spread them, show you that queen. Well, that's amazing. Yeah. Flip it over. Everything's open and fair, and then you could even turn those cards. It doesn't matter, you know. So
the cool thing about Wave Deluxe, I think, is actually what we're talking about. Is it comes with a lot of the gimmicks. I mean, it comes with them in red, blue. It comes with them in jacks, queens, kings.
Yeah.
I think it even comes with them in a couple different back designs.
Yeah.
You get a lot for your money there.
Yeah, and you also get Max teaching it to you as well.
Beginner trick? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. It's like borderline not, but like I think just because it's too easy.
It's a beginner trick that introduces you to a multi-phase trick in a very accessible way.
And it's the only thing on here that's like a mental effect, right?
Yes. There's not a lot of like beginner mentalism.
No, there really isn't. This is a great, you know, and especially if you're like for like an older person, you know, because this is more, you know, a lot of the tricks we've talked about do require a little bit of dexterity.
Yeah.
But this requires 0. So like
anyone can do this.
Yeah, anybody can do this. And if you are a bit stronger orator or like, you know, somebody that likes to talk or tell a story, this would be a perfect fit for somebody that like maybe a little older trying to get into magic.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about Wave.
Because I think part of how Wave gets stronger is through the clarity of what you're trying to say to them. It's
not just clarity, it's confidence.
Yeah.
And it's the confidence to present this, which I think, you know, and that trick gives you because you are well and truly covered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it for a younger beginner just because the process that you take them through is important, very easy.
Yeah.
Really cool concept.
Well, yeah.
But I think, you know, I wouldn't recommend it for someone under the age of like 12 or 13.
Well, yeah, and you start to get into just the general like thought of like if you are going to do a mental trick and you're going to be a little kid saying, I already knew what you were going to do, like based, you know, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to root mentalism in your character, right? And for a younger kid, it's even harder. Right.
Yeah, but
easier for an old graybeard, right? But
one of these days we will see a 9-year-old mentalist who is going, like, you will believe is real.
Sure.
And I can't wait for that day.
Yeah. They're gonna have to really own that character, whatever it is. But when it happens, it'll be great. So anyway,
great
that's
trick.
The list.
Great trick. Well, Nick, we always do our picks at the end of this. So you know we talked quite a bit about the box of powers, which 2 of the tricks on the list are already in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can already say that number 1, and I know it wasn't available when they made the list.
Yeah.
So fair enough. But there's no reason for box powers to be number 1 for me. And it already includes what we talked about, the Mark deck that's in here.
Yeah.
It also has the CARD-TOON, which we talked about. It also has the Stealth Pen, which we talked about. And there's 2 other things in here. We might as well just mention it really quick. Moneyball by Nate Kranzo. Great beginner's trick because it has a fun gimmick. And it's going to introduce you to a really easy sleight of hand move. And then also the Raven Mini, which, you know,
you can make things appear, disappear, transform. You know, you probably there's an iconic scene in David Blaine's first special where he uses it. It got a lot of people into Magic.
I mean, if you gave this to somebody that was looking to get started in Magic, I think this would just capture every element of getting them excited and wanting to learn. And there's so much. I mean, how many tricks are in here? I don't even know. You know,
well, the manual teaches you a bunch of stuff with like ordinary objects as well as like tricks with a regular deck of cards. And it comes with a nice video that is taught by Nick Lacapo, so you can learn a bunch of stuff. It's a home run.
Can't beat it. Get this.
I mean, I think we both agree that this is number one, but let's stick to the way we do it and say, like, of these,
of these, oh man, if I was, and you could tell this is genuine on the spot. Of the tricks that we have here, you know, Matt, maybe I keep Wave at 1. I don't know, or no, you know what? Stealth Pen. Stealth Pen would be such a fun trick to give to somebody because it's just got that like, what? Yeah. This is cool. So maybe I'd have the Stealth Pen at 1 here. I'll take it out of here.
I think
Stealth Pen at 1.
Yeah.
And then I go Wave 2, just which we don't have here, of course. And then oh man, let's go Poker Test 3. Poker Test 3.
You know, actually those are the 3 that I was thinking of because I was sitting here as we got to the end of this video. I was like, oh, I got to start thinking about that. Like, what are Nick and Erik's picks? I would put Boyev at number 1. Poker Test 2.0 at number 2, and then I would put Stealth Pen at number 3. Only because I think that, for me, discovering gimmicked cards was something that was really cool. Very formative in the way I do Magic now, but discovering gimmick cards and the way that some of these things worked was just endlessly cool.
Yeah.
And so even when I was very, very young and very in Magic and not knowing anything about it, so I do that's kind of where I have it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
But Stealth Pen though is it's that James Bond device.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you give people for their first trick. And like, I think as talking through this list, I think possibly the toy element is so important.
Yeah.
I gave somebody a Scotch and soda recently.
Yeah.
And like when they saw how which Scotch and soda maybe should be on this list.
You're right. Scotch and soda really should be on this list.
Or like Bite Out Quarter or something like that. You know, when you see how that works, you're just like, what?
I think Bite Out Quarter should not be on the list, only because you got to get involved with switches and you're learning stuff. Whereas Scotch and soda, you can have that set up and ready to go, and then you can hand it out, and it will destroy people.
Sure.
But it's super easy to do.
But you know, they see the trick, they're fooled, and then when you see the gimmick, you're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's just such an important element. They need to be excited about trying to do it.
You know what? I know we're like well past the time, but another one that just occurred to me that is in a lot of pitch shops, and because of that, it fooled me so bad. Nickels to dimes.
Sure.
Nickels to dimes is also in that area where it's like it's a fun toy to play with.
Yeah. I think that might be the most important element when you're trying to choose a trick for somebody. You know, I'm assuming you're watching this either. If you're watching this video, you already know a little bit about Magic, most likely. So you're probably
just waiting to like hit us in the discussion below. Which, by the way, leave some comments down below if there's any beginner tricks that you missed or that Nick and I didn't suggest.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many. Yeah.
And let us know your thoughts on this. Also, always be sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell so that you can be notified when we put other top 10 lists up like this, as well as put up uncut performances from the Penguin Live lookbacks and our Inside the Box videos where we actually get to grips and open up some of these tricks.
Yeah.
I think that's all there is for this edition of the Penguin Magic Top 10. I'm Erik Tate alongside Nick Locapo on behalf of everyone else here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.